Okay, everybody, Chloethedev here, attempting this stream once again. I tried it about half an hour ago. We're getting about 50-60% dropped frames, so it's all good now. I did the Big Sur update. I know people were having a lot of concerns about it, but I don't know. I'm sure restarting my computer in general helped it work better, but that's not really a big deal. We're just gonna pop straight into the article. So basically, I applied for Kernel last week. I was talking about it in a few of my videos. I applied for the security track, but long story short, there's 8 modules. I'll be going through introduction for module 0 today. I have an interview tomorrow for the program, and we were told to go through this article on trust. But I was like, you know what? I might as well go through the entire thing. Those people who have not applied to Kernel don't know what Kernel is. This might be a great introduction to kind of explain what is Kernel, what is the point. People are talking about it in the Web3 crypto community, so let's get into it. So, Module 0, an introduction to Kernel. Kernel is an 8-week program and will be covering a new learning module each week. Each module is made up of 2 sections: crafted reading, which we will expect you to have read before the beginning of each week, and curated material, which is made up of articles, videos, and the occasional podcast that we highly recommend you go over before the Fireside Chat each week. So here's the structure of Kernel, it seems. First, you have the crafted reading, which is made up of 2 separate lessons: a personal lesson designed to teach you one of the principles we believe is important for your own navigation of this new and wild web, and a Web3 lesson, which is more technical and goes to the heart of critical concepts, which we often don't reflect upon enough, like trust, value, and freedom. So they're trying to shape our minds in a broader sense than just about the web. It's very interesting. The crafted reading is specifically not long and hopefully not boring. It should take you a maximum of 5 minutes to read each piece, so we only expect 10 minutes of reading before the beginning of each week. Not too bad. The ideas each piece presents are not the truth. They are intended to get you thinking so that you can come to your own unique conclusions about a wide range of critical topics. Curated material is specifically not a long list of links no one will ever have the time to truly reflect upon. Cool. Why not? Sounds like fun. Let's do it. We have picked the at most 3 pieces for each week in different formats: video, text, audio. I like that because some people might have different learning styles. And we have written very detailed briefs for each piece. That's very helpful as well. This is because we don't want to flood you with information. We want to teach you how to find the best information, which I think is very important. All the information is out there if you need to find it. And then genuinely use it to transform your own skills. I like this so far. Understanding and general approach to thinking about and building decentralized systems and tools. We highly recommend that you at least familiarize yourself with each brief. Timing and talking. Sorry, my throat needs some water. So today's Monday, tomorrow's Tuesday. So that makes sense. Weeks begin on Tuesdays because part of what we're doing here is breaking down our conditioned, culturally acquired ways of thinking. I guess that's it'll get you checking more often. What is more conditioning than the days of the week? Free yourself from Julian hegemony. Whatever that, I'm sure it's a nice reference to something. I'm not going to check it, but that's okay. If you want to know what the reference is, you can go to this link that I put in the description of this video, and you can go check it out yourself. Second, they're going to have Fireside Chat, which is when we'll bring in esteemed speakers from across the industry and introduce you to the most experienced and brilliant minds we know. Will genuinely occur each Thursday. So, oh man, my goal is, if I get in and if I can do Fireside Chats, my goal would be to live stream the Fireside Chats. So I'm going to assume there's no camera here and just have it on in the background, have OBS on and just do my thing. Because I want to it's like how I take notes is by live streaming. So we take the way I take notes as well each Thursday. Fireside Chats revolve specifically around the theme for that week. We will be fairly structured and broadcast live on YouTube for you to watch. Cool. With a live chat to ask questions if there's time. I'm still going to live stream my own if I can, but it's good that they're going to have a live stream on YouTube regardless. I didn't know if that was going to be done. I didn't know in the last video. So, as you'll see in this module, though, conversations are critical to kernel and the framework for learning, which we're presenting here. So throughout the course of each week, we will also have a number of juntos, smaller break-off conversations on a variety of themes, each hosted by an expert in that particular field. Very cool. You have to sign up for them. Okay. So you gotta sign up for these juntos, and we can accommodate at most 12 people. Otherwise, the conversations lose the intimacy and coherence, which is their main purpose. Very cool. I think it's kind of like being in university again, but they're making it more streamlined and better in every way. So cool. If you don't sign up in time for a junto you'd really like to attend, don't stress. They will also be broadcast live on YouTube, so that's cool. So you'll get to see the conversation happening in real time. So either way, everything we broadcast on YouTube, everyone can learn. So you just won't be able to participate actively in each one. So if you want to participate actively, you need to be in the cohort and sign up and all that. The speakers and mentors who host these juntos will also be around in our chat channels, so you can direct your questions to them outside of the allocated time for that specific gathering. Very cool. So at the bottom here, I'll just click the next button, and we'll go to the next page. Okay, so in the crafted reading, so there's two. There's the play of pattern. Usually I'm used to hearing the pattern of play, so the play of pattern, very interesting. And there's going to be the next one on trust. So we're going to move to the play of pattern first. None of the kernel core learning objectives have concrete answers. This is because there are no simple one-size-fits-all answers to the questions we're interested in learning about teaching. I like that. That is what makes them good questions, potentially. Our aim here is to give you the framework to begin thinking in transformative ways about the most important questions raised by this Web3 world we're building together. Kernel fellows will separate themselves by their ability to identify patterns. Pattern recognition is at the core of cognition. Becoming more conscious of patterns which already exist in the world, as well as how you choose to interact with those in your environment, is the single best thing you can do to improve your critical thinking skills. I think that's pretty good. In particular, we hope Kernel Fellows begin thinking in terms of complementary opposites. Rather than using dualities like decentralization good, centralization bad, or DeFi is innovative, fiat is boring. This style of thinking recognizes that there is no good without evil, no attraction without repulsion, no north without south, no up without down. True, fair enough so far. We could describe this as quantum thought, being able to contemplate both 0 and 1 simultaneously and the spectrum of probability between. If you can hold this all in a superposition without any grasping after certainty, you can process significantly more information per qubit, and so make more effective decisions because the lack of certainty humbles you. I actually agree wholeheartedly so far with everything that's being said. Kernel Fellows should have humility. We cannot be sure what the effect of our actions will be. We can only cultivate an acute observational awareness which will guide us toward making the right trade-offs. If you want to change the world will inevitably act back to change you. Fair enough. Hopefully for the better being relative. The results of Web 2 applications have made this clear. The greater our collective humility, the more gentle this exchange will be as Web 3 comes to life. The critical idea here is that thinking consciously about trade-offs and developing the ability to hold many different probabilities in mind simultaneously without allowing personal bias to obscure your view of all possible futures allows you to pick the middle way more often than not. The honest question: those who have positively changed the world, again, very subjective, were able to do so because they learned how to negotiate complexity rather than impose their own will on things. I don't know about that, but that's they answered their own questions as honestly and directly as they could. most probably. Playing with pattern recognition as a framework for thought and training ourselves to become conscious of the constant interplay of complementary opposites as a means of cultivating presence leads us to one very simple query. What is the question to which you are the universe's answer? That is a very good way of putting it. And let's equally direct corollary. Jeez. How can you respond most honestly, accurately, and lovingly? I actually like these questions. I think about them constantly, but let's go. This is what we're actually supposed to read for Tuesday, for tomorrow. But let's go through trust. What is trust and why is it first on the list of core learning objectives? Liars and cheats. Bitcoin began with the maxim, don't trust, verify. That is, trust can only begin where verification ends. Trust is only meaningful once we have fully understood how people can lie. Because we can codify the ways in which it is possible to cheat, we can also write executable software rules with deterministic results that prevent cheating in the protocols we use to define and transfer value, if you know every single way to cheat though, right? This demonstrates how to use complementary opposites as a mode of thought to identify patterns of meaning. We can build protocols with strong trust guarantees by defining clearly and encoding what it means to lie. And that's the point. You need to define very, very clearly what it means to lie, because everything outside of that lying is not therefore a lie because you haven't defined it as a lie. To understand trust, you must know the details of all possible deception. I think that's very, very, very important. Such rules do not mean we need no longer trust at all. It means that there is an implicit shift from trusting those who own the media by which we transfer value to those with whom we are actually transacting. So it's like, instead of trusting Facebook as a whole, only trusting the people you're talking to on Facebook and not having to trust that centralized party of Facebook. Take a moment to reflect on this statement. Viris in numerous. What, strength in numbers? Yeah. To me, I want to say life in numbers or trust in numbers, but I guess literally in the Latin, I would assume. Viris is probably virality or strength. Not only just life. Or vitra, I don't know, sorry, vitra fast. Anyways, sorry. It goes back to Pythagoras, for whom all things are number. The implicit shift towards trusting those we're actually transacting with is enabled due to a fundamental change in the language by which value is defined. Instead of regulatory fiat enforced by legal pros and human courts backed by the threat of violence, Bitcoin enables a network of peers to create the conditions required for a functional currency through mathematics alone, enforced by deterministic computation. The saying holds this double entendre, which implies both that using numbers and mathematical consensus gives us the strength to lay down what our Andreas and Antonopoulos will later call unassailable facts, while also pointing at that which gives power and meaning to any narrative, the community which believes it. That is, I like that quote right there. The more succinctly we can express shared truths, the easier it becomes to verify and therefore trust the systems we use. I'm loving some of these these points, these quotes from this page. Trust has something to do with truth. Potentially. Subjective truth, for sure. Publicly verifiable truth means more humans can reach consensus on the basic state of their shared realities and get on transacting in increasingly valuable ways based on new kinds of trust. So that is the point I think is so important. If people are trusting this layer and they're trusting each other, then they can transact in large values in it because they're trusting what they're transacting on. It's a profound feedback loop. Use a universal language, math, to define succinctly what it means to cheat, enforce penalties in a deterministic and executable way based on your definitions, code, which allows more humans to experiment with interpersonal trust in ways previously unimaginable, which is why I love Ethereum. And why, yes, I love Bitcoin too, but I can't, this whole part where you're here, which allows moral humans to experiment with interpersonal trust in ways previously unimaginable. That's Ethereum, man. I love Bitcoin. I love other blockchains too, like I think Near. I love other blockchains, but Bitcoin's not Turing complete. So it does allow us to have high value transfers and have security in our value being locked up, which allows us to now, trustlessly lock up our Bitcoin and mint it on Ethereum, which is kind of cool. But that's where the experimentation comes from. And so I do like Bitcoin experimentation as well. It's just, in my opinion, more to do with how do you trustlessly lock up Bitcoin and use it on other chains so that you can have fun and experiment and doing that safely. Accessibility. Ultimately, we are not interested in trust based on blind faith. Not for this anyways. We're interested in deterministic verifiability between peers. The Bitcoin source code can be audited by anyone, anywhere in the world. So it's not just ability we're interested in here, but also access. So it's not about only being able to do something, but also does someone have access to that? Like, I can run a node, anyone can run a node, but do you have the hardware to run a node? Do you have fast enough internet bandwidth to run a node? Do you know how to run a node in terms of access to education? Anyways, trust in a particular day-to-day sense has a lot to do with transparency and education. Yes. This requires a certain kind of architectural innovation in the very structure of money. No more clients and servers. Everyone needs to be a peer. Please take a look over the brief. Please take a look over the brief of the next piece of curated material, Money Talks, to get a sense of what peer-to-peer architecture of money and what money as a protocol is really all about. Deeper down the rabbit hole, which is always fun, right? Of course, all this raises the question, what is truth? Note that we're interested in shared truth above, i.e. consensus, which is what all that really matters. If we agree that truth is all relative and we can never really know what absolute truth is, then absolute truth doesn't actually matter in my opinion. And all that really matters is what kind of shared truth we can come to terms with those around us. So, you go to the store in your local area and all you really care about is the shared truth that you and the store owner have about the price of the good that you're trying to buy, and the shared truth the store owner has and you have with the currency you're transacting with, to ensure that they trust that, you trust they're not going to change the price, you trust that it's good food, you trust it's actually the food you're buying, and they trust that when you give them a $5 bill or $10 bill you pay with credit card, whatever you pay with, they trust they're actually going to get that money in their bank account. That's trust. But all that really matters there is the shared consensus that you have. And so if the entire globe can have some sort of shared consensus, that is just a mind-blowingly, absolutely cool thing. And so that is what you get in terms of truth when you have consensus. Absolute truth is beyond the scope of this course, although you can use the same framework to think about it. One does not approach an absolute by trying to define it, but though being clear about what it is not. And I think that's very important as well. You know what is absolute in Ethereum, for example, by knowing what Ethereum cannot do, because you cannot ever, anyways, keep going. We're not going to try and go through that right now. If you are honest and clear enough, then whatever is left over after all your negation must necessarily be the truth. And I think this is really cool because it goes that you can never define absolute truth, but you can define as much as you care about, right? That you know. And then anything outside of that would be the subset of what the truth is, right? So, because in your set, you could never define infinity. But what you can say is, you know what? We're going to not have this, but we're going to take infinite of everything else. And that infinite could be the set of truth. And so truth is infinity minus a few things you defined. Further references, this is a really wonderful interactive web game designed to teach you everything you know about game theory and joy. And then we aim for Kernel to be a high trust, give first community along with high talented, like-minded peers. Some of the key learnings from the game define how we think about the program as well as the Web3 space more generally. Game theory has shown us the three things we need for the evolution of trust. I'm going to play the game, I guess, and then read through this. I have not played the game yet, so like this is my very first time. I have no clue what's happening. It says playing time is 30 minutes. I'm still going to go through it if it does take that long. During World War I, peace broke out. It was Christmas. Oh, I actually knew this. Because I studied sports psychology, people were okay playing soccer together, even though they were at war. Yeah, they exchanged gifts, they played soccer, played sport, even though they're at war. They couldn't trust each other, but why could they, yeah, let's play a game. If you have one choice, in front of you is a machine, you put in a coin in the machine, you put in one coin, the other player gets 3 coins, and vice versa. You both can either choose to cooperate, put in a coin, or cheat. You don't put in a coin. Let's say the other player cheats and doesn't put in a coin. So they don't put in a coin, so I don't get 3. I don't know how many coins I have, but I'm going to cooperate, okay? Alas, turning the other cheek just gets you slapped. If you cooperate, they cheat. You lose a coin, right? Well, they gain 3. The score is -1 plus 3. However, if you both cheated, it would be 0-0. Therefore, you should cheat, okay? But let's say the other player cooperates and puts in a coin. What should you do now? Right? Cooperate. Okay, sure. Seems like the right thing to do, or is it? Because if you both cooperate, you both give up a coin, right, and gain 3. Score is +2, apparently. But if you cheat, right, and they cooperate, so you cheat, you didn't lose anything, and they cooperate, they lose 1. You gain 3 coins, right, at the cost of 1, right? But if you cheat, from last time, I guess. Therefore, you should still cheat. I don't understand that at all. Oh, at their cost of 1. Sorry, yeah. And that's our dilemma. Trust is nice, but it can let others take advantage of you. Or shoot you as you come unarmed out of the trench. Sometimes distrust is rational. But now, what happens if we play the game more than once? Now let's play for real. You'll be playing against 5 different opponents, each with their own game strategy. With each opponent, you'll play anywhere between 3 to 7 rounds. You won't know in advance when the last round is. Can you trust them? Or rather, can they trust you? Okay, if this was real, cooperate. Okay, awesome. We all get 3. We spent 1, we got back 3, so we're at 2. Cooperate. Okay. Awesome. Looks like we both did the same thing. Cooperate. Awesome. Cooperate. Looks like we're still cooperating. Awesome. Cooperate. Awesome. Okay. We made it. We all cooperated. Now, if we cooperate, haha, they cheated. Oh no. So now it shows that if I cooperate in a system and someone else cheats, it's not really about what I want to do. Eventually, I'll be kicked out of the system. Because say the system works where you need to keep a total score of at least 5, right, to stay in the system, right? So let's cooperate again. Oh no, they cheated again. Now my total score is 8. So I'm gonna keep cooperating in this system, let's say. But as I keep cooperating, oh no. Now my total score is 7. Now, if I need to keep, let's show this. If I need to keep a score of 5 to stay in the network, what happens if I keep cooperating? They cheated again. Okay, but we're still in. Now we get to the next person. Let's keep cooperating. Okay, we're doing all right. Our score is back up to 8. So this, maybe in this network would be all right. Okay. Score of 10. And I made up 5 as an arbitrary number because let's say getting below 10 would cause us to be kicked out, right? That number of 10 might change my mind where if I get to 11, I might start cheating, right? But I gave 5 as my number, and I'm gonna play as if 5 was my number. Let's see. We're good so far. My score is doing well. We're gonna keep going. Okay. Facing the next person. We're all cooperating again. They cheated again, so our score is gonna probably drop. Let's see. Oh, we're all right. Awesome. My total score is doing all right, but I'm losing against some opponents for sure. Oh, cheated again. Cheated again. Okay. My total score is 26, which ain't bad. The lowest and highest possible scores are 7. So I guess 7 would have been if you like cheated more times or something like that. Anyways, and 49 respectively. So who are these strange characters you played against? So there was someone who always cooperated. That was like me. Let's be best friends. There was the copycat. Very interesting. They start with cooperate, and then they just copy whatever you do. Interesting. And then they always cheat. Okay. Listen, partner. I'll start cooperating and keep cooperating. But if you ever cheat, I'll cheat you back till the end of tarnation. Interesting. And the detective first analyze you. I start, cooperate, cheat, cooperate, cooperate. If you cheat back, then I'll act like okay, so then you're getting more into like some fun. Now, what if they played against each other? Let's see. It's a tournament time. Each character will now play against every other character. That's 10 paired matches. So we were this bottom right, all cooperative, right? That was us. That's what we were doing. Who do you think will get the highest total score? Total score. Think carefully about it. Then place your bet. I think Copycat will get the highest score. Okay? Let's see. First match. Wait. Okay. Sure. Let's see. We're still up. Copycat's at the top. Okay. I'm just going to go a little faster. Right? We'll see who ends up winning. And the winner is... Yeah, Copycat. That makes sense. Yeah. I didn't even know that. Okay, but that makes sense. I mean, if you... Yeah, live and let live. Reciprocal Altruism. I'd still rather be this pink-hatted person. But I do understand that, you know, it's probably going to make the most sense. That's why peace could emerge in the trenches of World War I. Because they were saying, hey, I'll only not shoot you if you don't shoot me. I still don't think that reciprocal altruism is the most efficient form of altruism. I don't think so. Personally, that's my personal. But if things change a lot when you play multiple rounds of the same game, uh-oh. Multiple tournaments? Okay, let's see. Let's let our population of players evolve over time. It's a 3-step dance. So 1, play a tournament. Let them all play against each other and tally up the scores. Then you're going to eliminate the losers and reproduce the winners. And they have like, what is it, Bayesian probability where you take different models and try and attack a network based on that. Scary stuff. And repeat for as long as you like. Note, you don't have to wait for people to literally die and reproduce for culture to evolve. All that's needed is that unsuccessful behaviors go away and successful behaviors are imitated. So for example, if you have a network and you're attacking and only 10% of your attacks are working, but 90% of your attacks aren't working, okay, well just change all your 90 that are not working and do new attacks. Then maybe 30% are working and 30% aren't working, and just keep taking away all the attacks that aren't working. And let's just say in a very simple model, you need 51% to attack the network. Well, you just keep repeating that over and over and over again until you eventually get to 51%, and then you'll end up having enough. Let's see it in action, though. Oh my. Say we start with the following population of players. 15 always cooperates, 5 always cheats, and 5 copycats. We'll ignore Gruder and Detective for now. Gruder was like the, if you cheat on me, I'm going to cheat on you until end of tarnation. and detective was like a really complicated algorithm. Well, not really complicated, but more complicated. We're going to do the tournament eliminate reproduce dance a dozen times or so. Let's make another bet. Who do you think will win the first tournament? I kind of don't. Let's see. Sorry, there's 15 always cooperates, 5 always cheats, and 5 copycats. So let's say we think copycat's gonna win the first round. Okay. Okay. We played the tournament. Is that copycat? Eliminate bottom 5. But they got eaten up by always cheat, whose numbers had now. Okay, now obviously the cheating is gonna keep winning, right? Right. It's gonna get worse and worse and worse and worse, right? Right. 'Cause if you always cooperate, you'll always get eaten out. And then you still have your little bit of people who are honest, right? And now I think here's where you get rid of the honest parties, or sorry, you get rid of the, what's it called? Not honest parties. You get rid of the, man, well, I can't remember the word. Not honest. Just they do whatever. I know cooperative, but, sorry. Wait. Oh, the cheaters lose. Copycats. That's right. The always cheat became a victim of their own success. Oh, because, sorry, the copycats win off of each other, but the malicious parties feed off themselves and cut themselves out of the network. Play tournament, play bottom 5, reproduce. So by simply copying the other player's moves, copycats can play nice with each other, because with each other, anyways, while always cheats just cheat themselves. Not only that, but it also means copycat can give always cheats a taste of their own medicine. Right? Reproduce. There you go. And then copycat inherits the earth. So in the long run, you were right. Copycat wins. Always cheat might have won in the short run, but if you keep playing more rounds, but its exploitiveness was its downfall. It reminds me of a quote: "We are punished by our sins, not for them." Oh, and by the way, let's see. Ooh, the results are similar, even if you get more complicated users in there. The most efficient system is to copy. It's saying no. Sometimes a few Gruders may stick around because when all players except Gruber and a copycat are eliminated, the two tie. So it seems the math of game theory is telling us something. That copycat's philosophy, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, may not just be a moral truth, but also a mathematical truth. However, there's a problem. Let's see. The world's full of total jerkwads. If copycat is a strategy of this breed of game of trust, that even soldiers of World War II trenches independently evolved a similar strategy called live and let live. Why then are there so many untrustworthy people though? What's causing our epidemic of untrust? A clue's in that sentence itself. In this repeated game of trust. So far, we've only talked about change in the players. What about change in the game? And that's why the game shouldn't change. With Bitcoin, the game doesn't change for a long period of time. People enjoy that. In Ethereum, the idea is to not have too many code changes. Same thing. Before everything goes to heck, let's start with something nice. Here's a world filled entirely with always cooperative, except for one always cheat and copycat. Hit the button to the right to start the simulation. Go through it step by step or reset it. Okay, so what happens first is the one who cheats gets the most. Okay, let's just start it. As you already know, copycat wins, but that's under our current rules. Which say that the players play each other for 10 rounds per match. Okay. Do they still win in 7 rounds? Right, so yes. Let's see. In 5 rounds per match. Wait, reset. Step 1. Right? I think this is how it works. 2. Ah, so I'm not sure what they mean by rounds per match. Like, I'm not sure what they mean by like, let's see. Ah! Oh, does it mean it's going around 11 times? Yeah, I don't know what it's talking about. As you saw, if we don't play enough rounds here, it's 5 or less. Always cheat dominates. In 1985, when Americans were asked how many close friends they had, the most common answer was 3. In 2004, the most common answer was 0. We now have fewer friends across. Sorry. We now have fewer friends across class, racial, economic, and political lines because we have fewer friends. Period. And as you discovered for yourself, the fewer repeated interactions there are, the more distrust will spread. Okay. No mass media doesn't count. It must be a two-way interaction between specific individuals. And it gets worse. There's another way to breed distrust. Here are the playoffs for the trust game. With the normal playoffs, copycat wins. But now change the both cooperate reward. Okay, so now we're changing the rewards. If you both cooperate, so now the rewards aren't high enough to incentivize cooperation. Even though +1 is still more than the punishment for both cheating, what happens? Oh, cheaters win, man. You haven't... Wait, what? You're confusing me. Wait, reset. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. Wait, what? Okay, the same thing happens. With a lower win-win reward, always cheat takes over. Does that just mean that always cheat takes over for a bit? Because I keep seeing it in the math, right? Right? Always cheat takes over. But I guess there's still enough. With 51% of the network being cheaters, with over half the network being cheaters, what's it called? The people who do what happens to them seem to still win out, right? Because whatever. Anyways, this is the sadly common belief that a gain for us must come at a loss to them and vice versa. Non-zero-sum game. This will make the hard effort to create win-win solution, or at least avoid a lose-lose. Without a non-zero-sum game, trust can evolve. Speaking of which, let's look at our third and final barrier to the evolution of trust. Wow. As cool as copycat is, it has a huge fatal weakness I haven't mentioned yet. To understand the problem, let's say 2 copycats are playing against each other. Okay. Looks good so far. And normally they just pay back each other's kindness and sing Kumbaya till the end of time. Mistakes. Right? And then they're gonna cheat. So they think they had to retaliate. And this is, yeah, so this is what I was talking about before about copycat is great, but isn't perfect. So now you think that you have to retaliate. Thus, like that fields in the McCoy, these two copycats will spiral into an endless cycle of vengeance that started over a single mistake long ago. Tragic, but now, are there other types of players who can deal with mistakes? Oh my gosh, now we're getting complicated, but it's good because these are important things to think about when talking about game theory. Let's meet some new faces or new hats. Ha ha ha. Copy Kitten. I'm like Copycat, except I cheat back only after you cheat me twice in a row. After all, the first one could be a mistake. We're getting a little better now. It's kind of more where I like. Simpleton. Hi, I try start cooperate. If you cooperate back, I do same thing as last move. Even if it mistake. If you cheat back, I do opposite thing. I'm not even trying to understand what it's saying, honestly. But then you have, okay, fine, simpleton. Then you have random. It just does random things. Cool. Play in a tournament. Who do I think's gonna win? I think Copy Kitten will win. We're doing a dozen rounds. Let's see. Start. The simpleton won. Nice. Let's find out. Your bet was close, but no. How is it close? Oh, there's only 3 Copy Kittens. This is because Simpleton is actually capable of exploiting always cooperate. They both start cooperating, but if Simpleton makes a mistake, yeah, I didn't even read Simpleton well enough, honestly. I couldn't understand what it was saying. But let's go on. Okay, the same thing as before, except that, okay, half of always cooperate, it's half always cheats. Much less forgiving. Okay, let's go Copy Kitten again this time. Right? And then eventually, you know, Copy Kittens will even eat out the copycats, I suppose. Oh, it's looking pretty close. You bet Copycatten, again, go through it. You're right on the money. Copykitten wins this time. That surprising that with an even meaner starting population, Copykitten, a more forgiving version of Copycat, was the most successful. No, Copykitten is so forgiving, it doesn't even entirely wipe out Copycat. It shares room, which is super cute. In this case, a bit of miscommunication, 5% chance of mistake each round, could lead to more forgiveness, but this is true for all levels of miscommunication. Oh gosh, okay, this is going to be interesting though, because now we can change it to the math and see what's going to go on. Use the slider below to change the amount of miscommunication, so errors, so mistakenly cheating, and hit start. At 5% copies, okay? So if there's 0 miscommunication, right? No one's miscommunicating. Well then, yeah, you'd assume that Copycat wins because it's winning out. Now, even a 1% chance of miscommunication, I wonder what happens here. Does Copykitten eventually win out? Yeah, that's what I thought would happen. It might take longer, but even if there's a tiny chance of making a mistake, Copykitten will eventually win out in those areas, right? So let's hit stop. But the numbers were a bit lower, right? Like step. There you go. Oh, they're pretty even actually. Okay. Now obviously the higher you go, the quicker. Oh. Okay, this is interesting. So if the chance of if people are lying too much, then it's best just to lie to everyone, right? Let's see. Interesting. So even at like 12% errors, right? So let's say you're running a node and you're missing 1 in 10. Even if you missed 1 in 20? Okay. So as long as you're not at 5%. Very interesting. What about 7%? Okay. So as long as you're below 7%, right? At 8%, it's 8%'s all right. Sorry. So 8%'s the number, right? As long as you have less than 8% miscommunication. Interesting. Okay, so between 1 and 9%, it's saying at 10 to 49%, the unforgiving, always cheat wins. At 50%, nobody wins ever. This is why miscommunication is an interesting barrier to trust. A little bit of it leads to forgiveness, but too much and it leads to widespread distrust. I think our modern media technology, as much as it's helped to us to increase communication, has increased our miscommunication much more. I would agree with that. At last, let's experiment with all the numbers and knobs and sliders. Let's play. I don't really care who starts in the network. Oh man, I don't want to. I want to know about more, like higher chance of miscommunication, right? Yeah, these people. The cheaters get eaten out though by everything, right? So let's see. And simpletons get eaten, right? Simpletons eat. And what if you have no cheaters? Actually, it's not a lot. Okay, let's say you have a bunch of cheaters, and let's be a copy kitten. Let's put a few copy kittens in there. And I feel like most of the other ones, and some detectives, people who are trying to be like thinking through it all. Yeah, they get eaten quick, eh? With that many cheaters. Very interesting. So you need a good number of 8, 9, 10, 11. Anyway, let's keep going. I'm just clicking buttons and playing. Game theory has shown us the 3 things we need for the evolution of trust. Repeat interactions. So yes, you need to do something. It's like NPC. You need to do something with the same person over and over and over again to kind of see if you can trust that person or they're going to steal your money. But you need the knowledge of possible future repeat interactions before trust can evolve. Trust keeps going. Possible win-wins. So you must be playing a non-zero-sum game. A game where it's at least possible that we can both be better off. And low miscommunication. If levels of miscommunication are too high, trust breaks down. But when there's a little bit of miscommunication, it pays off to be more forgiving. Of course, real-world trust is affected by much more than this. There's reputation, shared values, contracts, cultural markers, blah, blah, blah. And let's not forget the biggest lesson. There's one big takeaway from all of this. It's this. What the game is defines what the players do. Our problem today isn't just that people are losing trust, it's that our environment acts against the evolution of trust. If you have no friends, how are you supposed to get repeat interactions and instill trust, right? If you have no close friends. That may seem cynical or naive, that we're merely products of our environment. But as game theory reminds us, we are each other's environment. In the short run, the game defines the players, but in the long run, it's us players who define the game. So do what you can do to create the conditions necessary to evolve trust. Build relationships, find win-wins, communicate clearly. Maybe then we can stop firing at each other, get out of our own trenches, cross no man's land, and come together. And all learn to live and let live. I love it. I love learning this. The first time I learned about it. Very cool. I'm going to, of course, take this and put it into. Oops. Okay, we're back at the trust thing here. I'm going to edit. Sorry. Link And then I'm gonna put trust game and add that to the links here. Okay. So that was pretty interesting. I really enjoyed going through that. So cool. Next, what? Money Talks, Curated Material. So they have the Andreas Antonopoulos. Conversation. These are like videos, it seems like. Participate. Interesting. Purpose. Well, I'm not going to read all these books, but. Okay, so brief represents the most relevant quotes from the linked resource, with small pieces of added commentary where appropriate. I'm not going to read through all these, but I think they're very cool. I'll probably end up watching the videos maybe at some point. I want to leave some stuff for me to be interested in when I go to the Fireside Chat, you know? But yeah, so each week, I don't know when the module actually starts. I will probably go through the module. I will at least go through the crafted reading. And the curated material, I'll probably just leave for people to go through themselves. I might go through some of it if they seem very interesting. But at the moment, not really. So yeah, that's all for that. Currently, I have to pop into CryptoVoxels soon and potentially edit the create base partial I was working on. There's an event tomorrow I was supposed to be working on the mint base gallery as well, so we'll see how that goes. But that's all for me. Chloethedev heading out. 4% drop frames today, not the best, but